who has, of course, been sort of outside looking in terms of the world of combat sports. Except Oscar De La Hoya got COVID, and so they had to find a substitute, which was Evander Holyfield. Now, here's the story for folks who may not know. Evander Holyfield was promised a fight previously on Triller, didn't get it, and was basically threatening or even put in the papers to sue them. I don't know, we're going to ask BC here in just a second, if that's why they gave him this contest, but here was the problem. De La Hoya versus Belfort was supposed to be at the Staples Center in LA. Obviously, a guy like De La Hoya can draw there. Now, you could say that they moved this fight to Florida, which they did, because obviously without De La Hoya, they're never going to fill out the Staples Center. You could also make the argument, and probably this one's correct, there is no fucking way that the California Commission is going to sanction a pro contest with a 58-year-old Evander Holyfield, who, by the way, even on training footage has looked bad, against Belfort, who, obviously that doesn't have a ton of boxing ability and is long in the tooth, but has, I think it's fair to bring up, a long history with PED use and everything else in between. BC, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, this is gross. This is what it is. It's gross. And I get a lot of people saying, BC, isn't this your shit, right? I'm the guy, Luke, for 10 years as a national, what am I, a pundit, an idiot, have been saying hashtag old guy fights, right? Because that's my shit. I love it. I love the slop. Well, first of all, again, let me reiterate that gas stations are the silent killer, so keep your livers in check. But also, Luke, there has to be a line. There has to be a limit. And for me, this was the limit. Not just because Holyfield is 58. In some ways, Luke, that's almost like the third or fourth worst part of this. You asked me, does this have anything to do with the lawsuit? Well, I don't have proof of that. I wasn't on the phone with Triller's Ryan Kavanaugh getting, a confirmation. How could it not, Luke? Right? Holyfield signed with Triller with the language saying he's essentially signing with them to have a third fight with Mike Tyson. And the problem with Mike Tyson's comeback against Roy Jones going so well, meaning nobody got hurt, Mike looked great, and a lot of people were into it, and a lot of people actually exited that fight happy because it was a special situation with Mike Tyson kind of going through another season of turning his life around and redeeming the past and all that. Unfortunately, when that stuff happens, you'll get the copycats, and unfortunately, Mike inspired a lot of old guys to come back. There's a difference in my mind when 47-year-old Oscar De La Hoya wants to come back for one more and when 58-year-old Evander Holyfield does. So, Luke, the combination of this looks like a make good to make a lawsuit go away, even though the Oscar COVID stuff is real and they did need an opponent to sort of save this card. Although you could argue with a co-main strong enough of Anderson Silva versus Tito Ortiz and all the music acts, did it really need to be saved? I don't know. But you add that, and you add the obvious commission shopping that was done here. In fact, I don't even think the Triller people hid that in the quotes, because Ryan Kavanaugh was quoted by every outlet of saying, if California won't approve it, we will most likely move it to Florida, which they did. So, Luke, it's gross as shit. So you're going to ask yourself, well, BC, would you have been okay if Holyfield, who was scheduled to fight Kevin McBride, right, when the Tyson thing fell through because Tyson has his own issues with Triller that led to Triller suing Tyson, saying that he has one fight left. So, Holyfield was going to box McBride, who's old and slow and all that. Well, the difference is that's a fight Holyfield was going to win, but nobody cared. I didn't want to see that fight. It was gross to begin with anyway. Now we're going to put him in there against a guy in Vitor Belfort who's a lot closer to being active and dangerous. He's only 44, and Luke, I'm not saying things out loud so I can get sued, but this guy looks like he's freaking... What word do you want to say that won't get you sued, Luke? About what Vitor Belfort looks like in the pictures right now. It looks like 2013 Vitor Belfort, okay?
Rejuvenated.
I don't care that you could say, well, hey, Holyfield was still an active boxer into his late 40s. He's going to have all this boxing advantage over Vitor. No, he won't, bro. Because once it gets really gross, it gets really gross. And Belfort's in that category of the really gross category. I'm sorry, Holyfield is in that category of the same really gross category that Chuck Liddell was when he came back for that third Tito fight. Where I just don't want to see it. There's nothing good that can become of it. And in fact, there's a chance that something bad can become of it. We do not need 58-year-old Holyfield having a chance of getting hurt or knocked out or whatever. And when you add in Vitor's history and you add in all the other gross elements there, this is a gross fight that I'm not looking forward to, that I'm almost hoping falls apart, Luke. There's nothing good I can say about this. There's not even a good, like, hey, man, maybe it could be cool and competitive. Get that shit away from me. Seriously.
How do we know for a fact that Florida has approved this?
I'm not exactly sure where we're at on this, Luke, but as far as I know, this fight's happening, and it's going to happen in Florida. Does Florida have a history of not approving things, Luke? I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is. I mean, listen. The last time, I think, I could be wrong about this, but I think the last time Holyfield was in the ring, he was boxing Mitt fucking Romney.
Well, that was a comical exhibition, but Luke, the last time, hold on, let me just tell you quick. The last time he was actually in the ring was 16 years ago when the New York State Athletic Commission after the fight said, we will no longer sanction you for fights because you have, you're, whatever the term was, you're no longer a safety to yourself in the ring.
Yeah. And also, I mean, you can just hear him in his speech has slurred. I mean, this is unethical. It's unethical. Like, you cannot be doing something like this. And I don't know what's going to happen. And by the way, listen, I lived through Tim Sylvia fighting Ray Mercer, and then Ray Mercer knocked him the fuck out. So, like, certainly in combat sports, we have to reserve space for anything being possible, which is why fans tend to tune in on it. But, dude, you got Holyfield, who's had a long documented history of financial trouble, selling all of his memorabilia. He's got documented issues with health. He's 58. The guy's nearly 60. You couldn't probably, we'll see. I don't know what the exact truth is, but you moved it from a place where there was going to be a strict commission to a place where there's going to be, just guys fucking making airplanes out of paper in their offices in terms of the commission. It's not just that it's gross to make money off this or try to. This is fucking dangerous. This is potentially dangerous. And if people can spend their money how they want, but I would strongly caution them to think twice about what this
Luke,
might mean to purchase something like this.
Do you know what nobody was talking about? That Belfort de la Hoya was potentially dangerous. I know Oscar's a lot closer to being closer to his prime, but Oscar was still 13 years removed, moving up considerably in weight, again, against the guy who's starting to look a lot like 2013 Mohawk Vitor in pictures. That fight was getting sneaky, dangerous, interesting. Now that fight's off. No, nobody wants this. We don't want. I mean, look, would you have been able to be talked into Holyfield Tyson 3 if it was an exhibition handled the same way that the Roy Jones fight was? Maybe you would have, but you would have had misgivings.
Yes, maybe I could, again, as an exhibition where they can change rules and timing and stuff, I'm more or less okay with it. But when they wanted this on a pro contest, like, what are we doing here? Florida's gross. It's a gross place.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Florida. I apologize.
Luke, what is your hold on, since it's fight week, what is your Anderson Silva Tito Ortiz care level from 1 to 10 right now?
Negative 5 billion.
All right, there you go. Have it. Saturday night, be there. Yeah.
Be nice if Anderson Silva won, and that's the most I can say about it. He seems to be having a great moment after his UFC run. He deserved it. Tito, by the way, had a great run after his UFC moments as well. That win over Chael Sonnen was kind of big for him, and good for him. He made some money with it. It's not even about that. It's just like, what are we doing at this point?
Okay, what if they wouldn't have done this, but what if they had paid Tito to step aside and we saw Anderson versus Vitor, a boxing match? Would you have been into that?
Yeah, I'd be all into that, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Yes, I'd be very much into that. That to me is actually kind of fun and silly, but
I could get into. And as a replacement, would I get into Tito versus Evander? Tito's hands are so bad that I could be like, that's gross as shit, but it's probably a lot better than Vitor.
If Tito knocked out Chuck Liddell the way he did, and then afterwards, viciously KO'd Evander, I would be really sad. I think a lot of fans would be like, gee, this guy's just, dude, we would put him, we couldn't talk about him on the 5-part rundown. We have to put him on Have You Seen This Shit because it'd be elder abuse. I mean, what are we doing at that point?
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Greetings.
All right, with that in mind, we're one step closer. But first, BC and I are not going to ask each other questions. It's time for you to ask us questions. It's time for DMs for Dogs.
We've got mail.
As you know, the day before the show, on the Monday show, in this case a Tuesday show, normally it's on Monday. So every Sunday, typically, we put up an Instagram post. You can find us at Morning Combat on Instagram, and we ask you guys what you guys want to know. And then you ask us questions. All right, I don't even know if I have them or not. I think I do, yes. All right, here we go. From at Case for Days. Who will eventually get cut first by UFC? Till or Gastelum? Oh, that's a terrible question.
Wow. Luke, you would agree that both have quote-unquote money in the bank as company men. Would you agree with that?
For sure.
Gastelum makes better fights. True or false?
True. Much better.
But Till's a better talker and more marketable. True or false?
By the way, people are writing me saying Till apparently told Michael Bisping he tore his ACL 10 weeks before the fight, and to what extent that might have affected his performance. Keep that in mind.
Okay. Till's the bigger brand, right, Luke?
For sure. At this point. Well, yeah, he's the bigger brand. And also, he is regionally important, right? He's very, very important for a particularly important market.
Yeah, it's going to be Gastelum. And I think Gastelum has more bad tape than Till has up to this point. You could argue both. You could argue it's even. Luke.
It's tough. It's tough to say. All right.
Gastelum would get cut first. We both know it, okay?
I think so. From @Tyson_calm. Did Patty the Batty deliver the most exciting UFC debut ever? No.
Is it in the conversation?
That's not even a pimple on the ass of what Anderson Silva did.
Yeah, well, certainly Anderson's the go-to. Who else are we missing in this conversation? Ronda Rousey? Yes, right?
Ronda Rousey had a good one. Hers was fucking thrilling, and it was a main event.
Brock in defeat. Brock Lesnar?
Brock in defeat. McGregor was a big one. St. Pierre's was not a big one. Obviously, I think it was either against Caro or Jay Huron. Either way, it wasn't that big. Who else had a big one? You could maybe argue Vitor Belfort.
That's another conversation.
You could kind of argue Vitor Belfort. It was a different era, but it was big. But no. I mean, listen. He had a very strong UFC debut, no doubt about it. But the most exciting ever? No, dude. I was there. I watched it when Silva beat Lieben, and that was a.
Oh, you were in the building?
No. I was covering it live.
Oh, okay.
But I remember exactly where I was at the moment. I remember looking at my TV being like, what the fuck did I just watch? That was incredible. So, no, it's not quite on that level.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
Let's keep it moving.
From @Michael Curson. What are your thoughts? We kind of went over this. What are your thoughts on the sidekick Khalil Roundtree landed on Bukauskas? Should that kick be banned? You want to go over one more time, or you want to just?
No, I wish I would have known. I probably should. Am I allowed to see these in advance? I'm not even sure what the morality laws are in morning combat rundowns, Luke.
Yeah, you should be able to. They normally send them just to me, but for that purpose, I think you should see them too.
I wouldn't have brought it up then, but we have already answered that. Maybe can we call this guy on the phone and see if he has another question, Luke?
Yes, he's asking, what are you going to wear to the Dying Fetus show in November?
Luke, people are tweeting at me in the moment saying that you attending an AEW card is the equivalent of me going to Dying Fetus.
Not exactly. It depends. Here's why. We can go to Dying Fetus for a very small amount of money, and they're in your hometown, and it's easy to be right up front or pretty close to it, wherever we want to go. I'm not going to an AEW show where I'm in the fucking bleeders, where people are sneaking in booze and there's fistfights over, chicken fingers. I'm not doing that.
Next Wednesday, right? You and I might be in the same city together, right? Next Wednesday, we might.
Possible.
That night, I have third row AEW tickets with 2 CBS Sports employees.
Right. Well, here's the problem. It's my wedding anniversary. There's no chance I'm going to be
in Newark.
AEW.
Not that we have an extra ticket for you, but that would be the ultimate. Luke, get a taste of this. Third row.
Who are you going with? As my daughter cries insanely loudly.
Shout out to Robbie Snyder and Jamie Maz from CBS Sports. That would have been wild, Luke. But it is your anniversary. I can't do that to you, Luke. I can't do it.
Dude, I tell them every day, if the baby's crying loudly, take her outside, and they just don't. They just.
Luke, at what point can we stop calling her the baby? She's like 3, right?
Nah, she's 2. Yeah, you're right. She's 2.5. I just do it for shorthand, but yeah, the kid. All right.
Or the child. Look, the kid is all. The kid's a little disrespectful, Luke. It's your own child, okay?
I know. It's crazy. All right, from Pentameter 9. So sad to learn of Michael K. Williams passing. Favorite MKW role other than Omar? That's a great question.
That is a great question. So this is
IMDb.
Luke, this was, I tend to make fun of this culture that we have where when a celebrity dies, people are just like, they are heartbroken, and they put out 7 different Facebook posts, and I'm like, man, you didn't know David Bowie from Adam. Stop being all that emotional. You can still listen to his music. But I will say this was one that got through. When I read that, Luke, and I texted you, I was just like, damn, No, right? It's like when Stevie Ray Vaughan died in 1989, I remember my dad walked out of the room and he goes, "Not Stevie, motherfucker." And I was just like, "Whoa, Dad, whoa." But now I get it, Luke. Not Omar, bro. No.
Dude, that one's a bad one. Boardwalk Empire, he was kind of big in, obviously.
I haven't seen any other role, so I'm very heavy on loving this man from Omar and nothing else, Luke. So I should probably revisit his entire catalog now.
Yeah, he was in 12 Years a Slave as well. He did a bit on Crispus Attucks. Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which, by the way, terrible show. Overrated as a motherfucker, that thing is. His IMDb is just too long to read. It's everything. Everything is in here. It's amazing what he's done.
Luke, when
Gone
you
Baby
look
Gone,
at
he was in.
when you look at the 5 seasons of The Wire, is there a strong argument to make that he was the MVP of the show? Because that's arguably no worse than the second or third best TV show of all time. No worse than.
What's your favorite season of The Wire? I'm gonna say season 2.
Okay, but notice how, Luke, you just completely ignored my question.
I did, but I flipped it back because.
What's wrong with you? You know what I mean?
Dude, I did a whole bit on how Patty Pimblett was good on the ground, and your first question was, is he good on the ground? You don't listen either, motherfucker. I just don't call you on it all the time. So.
I mean, what an absolute, okay,
you don't listen either. I just let it go. I don't hold grudges about it. Favorite season of The Wire?
Well, okay, there's a great debate, and I've got a lot of time if you're willing to go down there. Everyone's got it wrong, okay? And everyone says season 4 with the school kids and all that is the greatest season in TV history. Jim Lampley used to go nuts on that. It's a great season. It's also just a little bit massively overrated, Luke. So season 3 would not be an incorrect answer as the greatest because the dynamic between Avon and Stringer is amazing. But the real answer of this, Luke, I'm sorry, folks. Rewatch it for yourselves. You heard wrong. Season 2 on the docks is the greatest season of the damn Wire. It is. Oh, BC, because you're a white guy, you said that. No, it's just really freaking good, okay? I love me some season 2. What's the guy's name? What's Ziggy's uncle? Frank Sabaka? Come on, my man Bogo, you know about Frank Sabaka. Luke, that season 2 is the best season, and I'll fight you over it, all right?
Yeah, also, I agree with you, first of all. And also, your part about, like, oh, everyone mourns celebrities they don't know. It's true that there's a bit of, like, melodramatic nonsense to it all. But, when the guy was open about addiction issues and then he dies from an overdose after doing such great art, it's just awful. It's just awful. So, it's terrible. And if you've not seen The Wire, I don't know what you're waiting for.
So is he the MVP of the show, Luke? Because I think Stringer Bell was. Idris Elba, I think he was the MVP of the show. Are you Omar was the best?
No, I'm with you, Stringer Bell. Idris Elba is just an unbelievable actor. Yeah. Michael K. Williams was too, but yeah, and that character, I don't know if the character was as interesting, but he made it as interesting as it could have been relative to Omar. So
I can't believe you agree with me on season 2, Luke. That's allowing me to forget your saying that I don't listen to you, which could not be further from the truth, Patty Pimblett notwithstanding, Luke. But wow, I didn't know we had that in common. Like, we could have been hanging out.
It's
for
also
years,
one of
Luke.
my favorite bars from Re-Up Gang, which is half Clips, half these other guys, and the bar is "We're the Wire Season 2, bitches, back to the docks." It's just one of my favorites. So
yeah. And hey, how about, okay, do you remember, real quick, you remember the crazy, what's the guy's name? What's the crazy Sabaka kid? Not Lenny, what the hell is his name? Ziggy. But
Ziggy.
How about Ziggy's cousin, Nick? How about his girlfriend, you remember?
I don't. It's been a while since I've seen
okay,
it.
she's the real MVP of that show, Luke. Okay, that's all I got to say about it.
Duly noted. All right, last but certainly not least, from Danny_Bridgewater, in light of ABBA dropping new tracks for the first time in 40 years, if you could bring back a band/solo artist that has broken up or just stopped making music, who would you choose?
This will be a little bit of a deep cut, Luke, but okay, back when I was single and had disposable income, we used to say, like, if this band came back, because back then, before David Lee Roth had reunited with Van Halen, my friends and I would always be like, what's the distance you'd drive for that? Like, if they announced that tomorrow and the first concert was, 16 hours away, would you get in the car and just drop everything, It's a bit of a deep cut, and by the way, they ended up reuniting, and it was what it was. It's a bit of a deep cut, but I think Whiskey Town the former Ryan Adams-led alternative country groundbreaking late 90s band who specialized in that just roots, Americana rock, bluegrassy, country rock, folk combination. If they ever got back together, your boy BC, even though Ryan Adams has made some horrific headlines in the Me Too era of late with the with the Mandy Moore fallout of his marriage, but that would be some shit for me. But Luke, that's a deep cut for me personally. I'm sure you have some, death by abortion rock band to bring out and really.
No Texas bands.
You're like, if Dimebag Darrell could come back from the dead, that's my pick. That's probably where you're at, right, Luke?
No, but I'm glad that you've decided for me what my pick is and what it isn't. My answer is going to be Clips, which I just kind of mentioned. It was the two brothers, Pusha T and Malice, and then Malice kind of had this conversion to Christianity, so he became literally No Malice, is now his name.
He became literally awesome, yes.
No, he became terrible because they don't make music anymore, and the music they made before was fucking amazing. Obviously, Pusha T's still out there doing his thing, but I wish that Clips were back together, as good as Pusha T is. So, sucks that Malice, or No Malice, did what he did, but what are you going to do?
All right, Luke. Dude, somebody sent, who's this guy? Somebody sent me this band that I was supposed to check out, and they're interesting, Luke. It's progressive metal. I'm going to have to get back to you on this, okay, Luke? Oh, have you ever heard of the band Between the Buried and Me? It's progressive death metal, and some fella, I'm sorry, I don't have your name right in front of me. He sent me, he's like, dude, you got to listen to the Parallax 2 Future Sequence album. And Luke, the singing is atrocious because it's death metal, but the music is a common wave between, hardcore metal and progressive rock and almost jazz influence. It's some great shit. And a lot of people are telling me, hey, BC, the bridge between you and Luke, the common ground, it's not just Rage Against the Machine or 90s alt rock. It actually is that bridge between Luke's crazy death metal and my love for very sophisticated jazz fusion progressive rock. There is a middle ground there. There's a genre, Luke, that people said we could be hanging out in, watching season 2 of The Wire together. Listening.
I got in your car, the Melissa Etheridge mobile, and in there you just had like Ravi Shankar fucking, outtakes. 9 hours of Ravi Shankar on the fucking sitar, just jamming to nothing in particular. I'm like, what the fuck are we listening to?
I had the Mahavishnu Orchestra with the great John McLaughlin, and it was a weird track with a lot of bang, bang, bang. And Luke, he has an Indian influence. He's got a spin-off band called Shakti, but I could have picked a lot. Like if Weather Report had been on, you'd been getting down with me. But unfortunately, it was like if you were like, "Hey BC, here's Dying Fetus's hardest track."
Let me ask you: you're into that kind of music? Why aren't you? Are you into Indian food?
I like it. I like a good Indian buffet.
See, I think Indian food is just like it's just unbelievably good. You get this weird thing where you got like experimental music tastes. You got like okay food tastes.
Well, yeah, I grew up as basic in food-wise as you can, but I'm trying to evolve over the years. Luke, can I ask you quickly about death metal? Why? How could you tolerate the singing? I mean, it's atrocious, Luke.
Well, here's the thing. People think I like all kinds of death metal. I don't. I like a little bit of it. There's a couple of bands I like a lot, obviously, but most of the time people send me recommendations to listen to like Vomitorium, and I'm like, no, this is terrible. I don't want anything to do with this. I just make a couple of exceptions along the way.
All right. Well, shout out to Corey Marlin for hooking me up with that band. I'm getting him into Cream just the same, Luke. Not my Cream, not Cream Get on Top, but the one of the greatest bands of all time. All right, Luke.
One day, anti-vaxxer Eric Clapton.
One day, Luke. The thing is about you and me, and we had a little dust up today. I'm not afraid to document our divorce on a documentary. I'm not afraid. Luke, I go so close to the fire and the edge on this show that if it leads to us never talking again, I'll sacrifice that for the art, okay? I just want you to know
before we do that, we need to watch Elder Abuse and lions eating fucking hippos, I guess. It's time for your stuff.
Yeah, we scour the globe, Luke. The good and bad, the ugly, the highs and lows and in between of combat sports and beyond, and we are 2 weeks out, so this is going to be a loaded one. Shout out to Gaff for compiling all this shit. Have you seen it, in fact? Let's do this. All right, Gaff Pierre on the ones and twos setting me up. Luke, how about we go to PFL from 2 weeks ago? I had to bring this back. Brandon Jenkins with the flying knee KO, Luke. This is going to be a nice little appetizer to get us ready for what's coming. Yeah, baby.
Jumping switch knee. Bop. That's the one like Paul Daly hit on Brennan Ward, I believe. Pretty close.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it was. Good stuff right there from Brandon. Don't call me Bubba Jenkins. All right, let's go over to Naciones MMA 1. This is Ivan Perez. Not only does he knock out Emmanuel Rivero, but how dirty is this?
The old Hendo.
The old UFC
punch.
100 stamp that he put on there. Wow.
You don't have enough brain damage. Let me help you with that.
I think that's regional Mexican MMA. There's no rules, Luke. There's no rules, okay? Let's keep it going. Let's get to some women's boxing LOLs. You see this face-off kiss, Luke? Okay, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Are
Why
we
did I wear pants today?
Well, Luke, if that didn't get you off, this will. Polish boxing, Iwa Brodnicka.
Yeah,
She brought a damn
dildos.
She brought a damn dildo and put it in the face of Anelia Bogus. Anelia's not taking that shit, Luke. At least not with cameras around, you know?
Dude, these are your type of women right here. This is the BC fucking center of the target right here.
That is inventive.
It's like pasty Eastern European women in scantily clad clothing throwing dildos at each other.
I mean, remember sometimes like Modafari will bring gifts to the scales for the face-off, you know, and we're like, what's going on here? This is an interesting gift right here, Luke. So, wow, all right. Let's keep it going. Let's go over to the women's kickboxing ring, Luke. This is a vicious KO. Get ready for this shit, Luke.
I was going to say, is the left hook going to keep landing? And yes, the left hook is going to keep landing.
God. That's one of those where you just, it's like WWE with just open the coffin, they fall right in, the match is over, Luke. I mean,
they fall face first. You can just go ahead and call the stretcher over immediately.
Yeah, all right, all right. Hey, Luke, you have a problem with tough people wearing gloves when they work out. Well, say it to their face. Here's Teofimo Lopez Jr. getting ready for his Tuesday night Triller showdown, Luke.
Yeah, I don't know if he knows this, but this will do nothing for your bench.
He's working his abs at the same time, Luke, okay?
Yeah,
you could learn from him.
If he wants to work on his core, it's great for your core. It ain't gonna do shit for your bench.
Okay. Yeah, those red gloves must anger you, Luke. That's just anger in you. I
like Teo a lot. I think he's an incredible boxer. I gotta have a talk with him about these.
Okay, we'll have him on. We'll get down to the bottom of it. Let's go over to one championship, Luke. What the hell is your boys Gordon Ryan and Gary Tonin doing here? Yeah. That's funny, I guess, Luke. Play a little How's Your Father? Yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah. Bad to the bone, these guys, Luke. Yeah, that's great. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Luke, you remember UFC newcomer Chris Moutinho? Check this out.
Okay, he's my new favorite fighter. People don't know, this is where BC and I hang out before Red Shoe Diaries. Room service diaries.
Only it's Manich and Gaff sitting topless on top of the washer.
I mean, this man is just living life in a way that I could not possibly critique.
Luke, how much weed is in that washer?
I'll say this: he is wasting a lot of perfectly good grass over there, but God bless him. He is having some fun, and the ladies are too. Who's having a bad time over there? I don't see anybody having a bad time. So.
There's more weed in that dryer than what Nate Newton got caught with when they pulled him over, Luke. Remember that? Wow. Remember Nate Newton? He had like 5,000 pounds of weed in his trunk when they pulled him over that time, Luke. It was incredible. Let's keep it going here. Major League Baseball shenanigans, Luke. Francis Ngannou throws out the first pitch at the Angels game, but he does it sidearm.
You know what? It was a strike.
Okay.
Who cares?
He didn't bounce it in or do some 50-cent bullshit, so that's good, right?
Dude, when you do it sidearm though, don't you have to like kind of step over and lean as you throw? You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's like do you make it's like when Rick Barry and Wilt Chamberlain would shoot free throws underhanded. It looks lame as shit, Luke, but if it works, right? You know?
That's right. That's my attitude. Does it work? Does it not work?
All right, Luke, check out these fans at Nationals Ballpark, just living life, drinking out of a paralyzed guy's leg, Luke.
The prosthetic, you mean?
Prosthetic leg. Sorry about that, Luke. Sorry about that.
That's here in DC. Yeah, dude, there was a guy in my gym. What day is it today? Tuesday? Saturday, there was a guy at my gym with a prosthetic leg like this, and he was squatting 400 pounds with good form. I was pretty impressed.
And then he celebrated by drinking out of his bum leg, Luke. That's fantastic.
God, good for him, dude. He fucking earned it.
All right, let's go to Chicago, Luke. You get those White Sox and Cubs fans together, it can get a little fiery. Let's zoom in here if we can.
I never understand Chicago rivalries. Obviously, I get this one, but in general, what it's all about.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. This guy wants he wants all the smoke, this guy.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of shoving. Boy,
By the way,
thank
that's
God BC, thank God for Steadicam.
Oh, yeah. That's a boss move to just push somebody over as they're coming at you. I'm into that.
Dude, tell me you have the one where the guy in the Dodgers game gets slept.
Maybe not on this one, Luke. That'll have to be next
Oh,
week.
how do you miss that one? It's so much better than this one.
Luke, let's go over to the bathroom. You down with this sink? Would you use it, Luke? Willingly?
I definitely wouldn't drink out of the toilet, I can tell you that.
Make sure you pull your fly up before washing your hands at this place, Luke, okay? You know what I'm saying? Unless that's your thing. All right.
Hoagie farts, once again, to the rescue.
Always, always. Luke, the dangers of drinking are upon us. I don't know what they call this, a butt crack and tonic? That's some, oh.
Okay. Were they white, BC? I can't tell. Oh, right.
All right, Luke, you'll drink your eye out.
People get mad at me. Jose, go back for just a second. I'm not saying that people of all races don't do drunk shit. Everyone drinks, everyone bombs out. But dude, this shit about pouring booze down the ass crack of your friend and then catching at the bottom like a fucking ballsack luge and then drinking it, that is the exclusive province of Whitey. 100%.
Let's go over to the bar, Luke. You'll drink your eye out. You got to be careful here. Check out this guy in the center.
Oh!
Yikes. All right. Yeah, that's...
My man, take it easy on the fishbowl drink. That's what we called them at. I used to go to this place in New York when I was broke as fuck called Brother Jimmy's.
Oh, I love that place.
Yeah, and then for like $20 they'd bring you that fishbowl full of like purple liquid that would get you fucked up.
New York City dive bars that maintain like competitive pricing, Luke, are like the jewel of the Nile.
When I first moved to New York, I was broke as shit. There was one place called Down the Hatch. It's in the Village. And it used to be, I'm sure it's changed now. It used to be, so this was 2003. It used to be you go there $20 from noon until the big game started in the evening, so like 6. All you can drink, all you can eat. Oh, I used to go there and get fucking housed, dude.
Oh, yeah, Luke. I'm having some poster issues here, Luke.
You're having a lot more than poster issues.
Yeah, all right. Hey, let's keep this crap going. Luke, what you mentioned earlier, but white people are going to white, Luke. Check out this drive-thru in Florida.
Okay, but this is genius. That's different. Oh.
Let me get that wave pool going, Luke.
Listen, you're not... Is this, honestly though, is this any worse than normal above-ground pools?
No.
I feel like above-ground pools are nubs as shit.
All right.
It's good that you're hosting this, BC. I'm glad.
Yeah, it's good that my office is falling apart here. Let's keep on going, Luke. Check out these dickheads. This is when you mix gymnastics and drinking, Luke. You could catapult your spine out of that. Yeah. Wow. Just got quiet in here. Okay.
I guess they're in a relationship now.
Yeah. All right, check out this drunk guy getting shafted here, Luke. Both of these guys, actually. You got to be careful messing around when you're sloppy drunk.
Welcome, Deva.
Watch out! No! Oh no!
Bye.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm watching this like Jabba the Hutt when he pulls the thing out and Luke goes into the dungeon.
Yeah. Sent to hell.
Tunaka solo.
Quite literally. All right. Hey, we got footage from the future here, Luke. We went in the DeLorean. Here's Luke 40 years from now.
Oh, we went to watch this old guy drown.
Guide your path.
Oh, the kid had floaties. I don't feel bad.
That's definitely Luke to his great grandkids many a year from now. Hey, Luke,
sure.
Anthony Rumble Johnson posted pictures of his dog's toy. How badass is that?
I wish I had that.
Yeah.
That's the amount of weed that would do with smoking in the dryer.
Oh, yeah. Luke, I wasn't going to put this on here, but I got so many requests to get in on the milk crate fever, so here we go. Let's watch some people get sent to hell, Luke.
Oh. Jesus.
Wow.
Is there something you needed?
Dude,
Kiss that
okay.
pavement.
This guy is, as we mentioned on Room Service Diaries, this guy's young, so I don't care about him. He sucks. It's the old dudes I always feel so bad for.
Luke, what about if we combine a baby reveal with a milk crate challenge? Will that get you fired up?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Congratulations, you're going to be a dad. Here's your wheelchair, you paralyzed bitch.
The good news is you're having a son. The bad news is you'll never walk again. All right.
You know what?
Good.
Actually, this is my favorite form of reveal. If you're going to do gender reveal parties, which is the dumbest fucking thing on earth, you should have to be maimed for it.
Yeah,
So I'm okay.
All right. Let's keep this rolling here, Luke. This is similar to how sweaty you were just
New York
leaving
City
your
subway.
your hotel room in Cleveland, only you didn't have a giant dick stain on the back.
I apologize, BC. I sat on this guy's back right before someone shot this.
He gave you a piggyback ride, and that was the.
Yeah, sorry about that,
right.
dude.
Hey, Luke, we're going to close with America's favorite game. It's called Rate My Tat. I want you to give me a score here on 1 to 10. 10 being a badass tat, 1 being it sucks. Here's Brandon Moreno, the UFC flyweight champion's sword on his left arm.
I can't read it. Este. One more time. Este.
Estee Lauder.
Read shit. Este juego. No. Es un. This game is not a marathon. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the lettering. Start over from the beginning. Don't know about the lettering. What I would say though is the line work's a little off, but that could be intentional.
Yeah.
Placement's decent. Goes with the body and the flow. I'll give it a 7.5.
That's respect.
So.
I respect that. Let's keep it rolling here, Luke. Check out this Pink Floyd tat. I might actually have to get this, Luke.
Oh, that is an excellent tattoo.
That's the album cover of Wish You Were Here, of course.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That is, I mean, look at the work with the suit crinkles. That's about a 9.5. That is an excellent tattoo.
And that is you on the left, me on the right. It really sums up this show, Luke, in a lot of ways. So maybe I will get that with an MK in the middle between their legs there. That'd be great. Okay. Let's keep it rolling here, Luke. Here's soccer player Matteo Politano's back. Give this one a score.
That's a 9.5. That is an absolutely incredible piece of work. It's got depth. It's got shading, it's got line work, it's got, I mean, sparing but incredible use of coloring. That's extremely good.
All right, let's go over to Detroit's finest Thomas Hitman Hearns inspired. First we have Sugar Sean O'Malley getting Luke his own silhouette of him doing the fadeaway jumper on his neck.
Let me see it again. That's about a 5. That's not great. It's not great.
Placement is not great either.
Listen, and I say this as someone who's got some 5s on his body too. I've made some tattoo mistakes. Like he who is without sin cast the first stone, but that's a 5.
You've had a lot of 5s in the dorm rooms too, Luke, back in the day.
Probably. That's not unfair.
After the William and Mary Mathlete Challenge. Here's Thomas the Hitman Hearns on a white guy's calf. Luke, you into it?
Well, if it's brand new, one thing you always have to remember when it's brand new like that, it's always going to be darker and like purpley. And so you can kind of see that. It will lighten up. It's hard to see from this distance. I'll say it looks okay, not great. The posture's not right. The hand placement's a little bit off. The chin's a little bit... it's a bit busted, actually.
All right, we got 2 more. This is inspired by the great boxing artist Richard T. Sloan. Here's a Pacquiao Margarito tat on some guy's chest, Luke.
That thing's a mess. That's a mess. I realize what you were trying to do with it in the fight poster, but you know, he made the fight poster work, I think, about okay, but
Imagine
it's
picking
hard
that
to read
fight.
and-
Imagine picking that fight to be on your chest for the rest of your life. I mean, there's better fights you could have picked. You know?
I know it was fine. Pacquiao just tuned him up for the whole fight, really, and you know, Margarito just kind of stood there. It wasn't that awesome.
I mean, I could get Gotti Ward on my chest. I could understand that. Corrales Castillo. God, Triple G Canelo I'd have on my chest over this shit, all right? All right, let's close with this Star Wars tat on the arm, Luke. You got to factor into your score how it looks with the sleeve.
Not great. Not a great tattoo. That's a 3, if not a 2.
Yeah, but when you put the sleeve on, suddenly it looks like that dong on the chest of Brock Lesnar, Luke.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you've got a dick and balls, that's an X-Wing, and then you pull up the arm, and you've just got childlike black and gray work. That is bad. And also the farmer's tan is nice, where the head of the dick is all tan, but the balls are all white and shriveled. Way to go, guy.
That's it, Luke. That's the shit for the week. Hope you saw it. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
BC, time for odds and ends. What do you have for odds and ends?
DAZN over the weekend in boxing. Unfortunately, that main event, the rematch with Mauricio Lara and Josh Warrington, was turned into a no contest due to a bad cut across Lara's entire eye in the, I believe, the second round. But Luke, the co-main event was all about Katie Taylor, and she handled Jennifer Hahn like we expected, defending all 4 lightweight titles with a knockdown and identical scores of like 100 to 89. Dominant performance. But here's the good news for all you fans who realize that Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano for the undisputed lightweight championship, it really could be, in terms of their talent, arguably the greatest women's boxing match of all time, and it really has that potential. Let's hear from promoter Eddie Hearn, Katie Taylor's promoter, after the fight.
Headline that. I think she fights again in December, and then I think she has to fight Amanda Serrano. It's not her fault that that fight hasn't been made. It's a mixture of many things, but that's the past. Future, I think we have to. You know, I think Amanda Serrano fancies that fight. I believe she's done a fantastic job to raise her profile. She brings tremendous value in that fight as well. She can be rewarded for that value. I think we can headline that fight at Madison Square Garden. By far and away the biggest fight in women's boxing. We have to do that fight. We have to make that fight, because I feel that if we don't, it will be a piece missing of a wonderful career.
Luke, this was great to hear. Obviously, this fight almost got made a couple times in the past few years. COVID took away from it. Serrano's team pulled out multiple times thinking they were getting shorted on money. But to Eddie and Katie's credit, they both said that what Serrano has done since then, in the past year plus, right? She had that close-up, that big fight on NBC Sports on Ring City USA, which is a platform I've done some work on, and then came back on the co-main of the Jake Paul pay-per-view against Tyron Woodley. They believe that Serrano has raised her profile to a new level. Luke, when Eddie Hearn said words like Madison Square Garden, I think that has the potential to give this fight the credence and just royalty that it deserves. I'm not kidding when I'm saying when you're matching up their talents still in their prime, although both are in their mid-30s, this could be, maybe the best women's fight on paper in history. Katie Taylor also said, look, from here on out, I'm 35. I only want super fights, pay-per-view fights, big-time fights from here on out. I respect that. Luke, I'm just finding out now. I didn't know this. Katie Taylor lives and trains full-time in Vernon, Connecticut, which is about a half hour from where I live right now. We could have been hanging out. But big win for Taylor. Make this fight. Thank you. Please, let's pay Amanda Serrano what she deserves, and let's make this fight. This is massive.
Yeah, and at Madison Square Garden, the Puerto Rican and Irish fans would be just an unbelievable
And real quick,
combo.
Luke, we've done the argument in the last couple of years, rightfully so, women's boxing at 10 rounds instead of 12 for title fights, and 2 minutes instead of 3 per round. Enough of this bullshit. If there was ever a fight to change the rules across the board for all states and all sanctioning bodies and make it universal that it's time to treat women on the level of the men, and realize that you're only robbing from the entertainment value by doing 2-minute rounds, this would be the first fight to debut that across the board. I'm just giving ideas to people.
I think you're right. For my odds and ends, I'm going to go with Glory 78 result. We talked about it on Friday a little bit, at least we previewed the fights to a small degree. So Alex Pereira lost to Vakitov, which was not altogether unsurprising. He's basically had one foot out the door to MMA the entire time. Afterwards, he even said as much, like, hey, this is maybe not my last fight, but my next fight's definitely going to be in an MMA cage. It was a majority decision, I believe, so Vakitov, you know, there was a spirited contest. It was back and forth, but in the end, he was the rightful winner. The more interesting result, though, came in the main event. I cannot pronounce the guy's first name, but I think his name is Verjoshak, something like that, with Badr Hari. Badr Hari goes in there looking smooth, beating this guy up. Drops him twice in the first round, then drops him a third time. These are all from liver shots for the most part in the second round. So he goes down 3 times, and then as Badr Hari walks forward with his jab, he eats a head kick, and the whole shit comes undone. He loses. So they probably will run that back. Kickboxing is a bit of a rematch sport anyway, so I think it'll be okay. But the crowd felt big. The event felt big. Glory did a great job with it, but what a fucking result for Badr Hari, man. That was in the bag and quite surprising in the NBC.
Let me say this. Our guy, Todd Grisham, who's known for being able to rise to the big moments, it's sort of, you know, like a Mauro Ranallo, although, you know, Mauro Ranallo's on obviously historically his own levels, but Todd nailed that call. He rose to the occasion.
Well, I was going to say, BC, on top of that, his partner, Joseph Valtellini, he saw the head kick first, so you can hear him react to it immediately. And then when Grisham sees what the fuck, because it takes a second, because the head kick landed, but it wasn't like Badr Hari went like this or something. He just kind of fell over, and then there was blood on the ring. But what a fucking win, man. God,
here's what's wild. They're calling this, you know, maybe one of, you know, among the most dramatic comeback wins in the history of combat sports. And look, I'm not familiar with the rules enough. People were saying that if there was a 4th knockdown, it would have ended the fight. So Badr Hari looked like he was on the way to landing that final knockdown. Is that the rule? What's the rule here on knockdown?
I'm honestly not sure. That has been the rule previously. I don't know if it's still the rule. Again, I'm not. We are very casual kickboxing fans, so I apologize to the audience for that. But at a bare minimum, BC, you could see it. He was getting eaten alive with liver shots and collapsing in anguish, and then just happened to pull off a really well-timed head kick counter to a jab, and that's all she wrote.
And what's crazy is, you know, that wasn't, it was a lucky shot for sure. It was a Hail Mary, but it wasn't the kind that like turns somebody's chin and you're like, no doubt. It was kind of like, it almost, you had to rewatch it a couple times. You're like, did that hit the right spot? But it hit him in the temple, it cut him, and it did enough to prevent him from being able to stand up. Look, unfortunately for Badr Hari, who's, you know, 36, this is he hasn't won in 5 fights, and now 4 of those, 1 no contest and 4 knockout losses. So this is the end, it seems, Luke, of a great career. And a rematch would be interesting since he was dominant there. I mean, I'm saying the end, meaning I don't know how much longer you can linger when you're taking losses like that, but that was pretty telling, Luke, that he doesn't seem to have the resistance anymore that he certainly once did in his prime.
Still, I think he's such a huge name in Dutch kickboxing. He'll still be around, but you're right. Like, his best days appear to be behind him. That's it for today's show. I want to remind folks, DraftKings, as BC put it quite articulately, it's MK, it's DK, together, okay? Great partnership. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code COMBAT with a K, K-O-M-B-A-T, to receive $200 in free bets when you place a $1 bet on any NFL football game and get a free shot at $1 million top prize with your first deposit. That's promo code COMBAT with a K this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. And as we said, BC, tonight's Contender Series, there'll be a show tomorrow. You can go and bet on the Contender Series on the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now.
Absolutely, and you know, you want to enter that chance to win $1 million. That's not bad, okay? Not to mention the deal that Luke just stated, giving you $200. So check that out. Support what we're doing here by getting on board with what's going on with DraftKings. There's no reason not to. Enhance your viewing experience by helping us get to the next level. So shout out to our folks at DraftKings. Let's make this work. Also, Luke, let's not forget our schedule. Today is Tuesday because of the Labor Day holiday yesterday. Today's also Rosh Hashanah, so shout out to Pennington James and our other brethren in the tribe. And also, we will be back tomorrow. We'll have a Wednesday show this week. We'll have a Friday show back on normal schedule, but back at it tomorrow, looking at the latest headlines, recapping what goes on tonight on the Dana White Contender Series, and
against a guy like Hermanson that he basically couldn't handle. You could see it.
NFL kicks off on CBS and streaming live on Paramount.
listen up. When it comes to keeping your privates in tip-top shape, use Manscaped's Lawnmower 4.0.
Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
And new undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
Believe you me, we are back. The Count Michael Bisping. Looking good, baby boy. What's up?
Not looking too good. We were messing around with cameras before. Obviously, we're always trying to upgrade the show. I had a 4K camera on, but I've been up and down. Behind here, there's everything, every kind of wire known to man. We're a little bit late to start today, but still on time for you guys. 9 p.m. Western time, midnight East Coast, 8 a.m. the UK. You know the dance, you know the rest. Good to see you, Lewis. Brian Harrington. Hope everybody's well. I had a good weekend. Had a nice time. Some great fights at the weekend. Of course, Darren Till didn't go his way. We're going to get into all that shit. We're going to break it down. British invasion. I'm just saying, if it was 1776, you'd all be fucking walking around having tea and crumpets right now. But still, Lewis, how are you?
We needed some of those warriors back in 1776. It was all white powdered wigs back then. You had bayonets and the red coats. We need some Paddy Pimblets.
Oh, dude, Paddy Pimblett was amazing. And again, we'll get into all that a little bit later. He stole the show. I mean, he put a lot of pressure on himself and said that he was going to do just that. But as I said, we'll get into it a little bit. We've got some little tittle-tattle usually. Do you have any tittle-tattle, Lewis?
Well, I am going on vacation Thursday.
Right about now?
Can you guess where?
Right about now?
People are trashing me so much because I'm going to Jamaica once again.
Jamaica, man!
Look, I know what I like, okay? And it's not like I travel all the time. We're going to England next month. I'm going to Toronto at the end of the year. I'm going back to Mexico next year. I'm doing a lot. I travel, but I know for a fact I like Jamaica. I got a little short window where I can take a little trip. I've been training my ass off, working my ass off, touring my ass off. Me and my new girlfriend, we want to go somewhere. I want to shower the motherland, smoke a little weed on the beach, listen to some reggae music, eat some jerk chicken, man. I will not be judged. And I'm not going to be judged by you, Michael Bisping.
Well, if you want to go to the motherland, you're going to the wrong place. The motherland is the UK, it's the United Kingdom, baby.
Not my mother.
But listen, we've said this many times, and we're not going to go over this again. But I kind of see what they're saying. You know, everything you mentioned there, you're going on little work trips. You know, when you're going to enrich the soul, when you're going to travel the universe, travel the world, see the wonders, the delights, the 7 wonders of the world, experience the different languages, the local cuisines, the different dialects of the beautiful language that is known as English. When you're going to travel the world, you see different people, you know, different architecture, different food, different styles, different looking people. You got to get out there. You got to see it all. Or go back to the same villa every single time.
Not the same villa.
Well, whatever. Same shit, different day.
It's a really nice. It's a different villa this time. A little bit different. Very romantic. Just the two of us. Last time it was a family vacation. The other thing is this, and you'll know this. I don't give a fuck about culture, really. I'm your typical American. Like, I'm not going to really go to a museum. Like, when I went to Amsterdam with my friends when I was like 22 years old, we walked straight past the Van Gogh Museum. We went straight past the Anne Frank house. It was weed and hookers all day long, baby boy. But now I have a child, and he's 8, and we travel, and we do different things, and I will do all the cultural stuff with him. My fucking girlfriend doesn't need any culture. She's fine.
Well, listen, that's what you should do. You got to enrich that soul. There's a lot of culture to see out there. In fact, I had a friend, someone that's very well known, text me today, said, hey, I'll be in London for a few days. Anything you'd care to recommend? I said, well, it depends what you're looking for. I said, but you can't go wrong with the Tower of London. That was my first recommendation, Lewis. The Tower of London. Take a private tour. It's incredible. It's sensational. I listed off a few restaurants and things like that. But you know what? Talking of travel, as we know, I mentioned last week, and this, I want to get your gauge on this as a father. You know, because Callum went off to wrestle internationally. He went up against the toughest guy, the #1 seed in his first match, lost by 1 point. So he did himself proud, and the Russian head coach came over and told Callum, because Callum was devastated. But he's like, no, that was an amazing match. He lost by 1 point. And funnily enough, how about this? Years ago, when I first started MMA and I knew nothing about wrestling whatsoever, the coach at the time got this Russian guy to come down. And this Russian guy was a prick. right? And he says, get your wrestling stance. And I got in a fight stance. He goes, and he hits me around the head. No, this is not the wrestling stance. I'm like, the fuck? And he said, this wrestling stance. And he shows me how to do it, so I get in that. And every time I got, because I'd never wrestled before in my life. I'm English, we don't wrestle unless you're a bit of a weirdo. And he kept telling me the single leg. No, you do this. You drill single leg to double leg. I'm like, what the? And I'm trying to do it. And every time I got something wrong,
you kick him in the stomach. He was like, single leg, I say.
He slapped me in the face. Just a little, like, you know, like your kid, you know, like in the 80s when you could get away with it, give him a little clip round the back of the head. He just kept doing that, kept hitting me in the head. I'm like, this motherfucker. In a minute, I am gonna fucking lose my shit. I get it. I can't do what you're saying. Teach me, but stop assaulting me every few minutes. Anyway. As luck would have it, the guy that I said, the Russian coach that went up to Callum and said that was an amazing match, it's the same guy.
No way.
20-odd years later.
That smacked you in the head?
Yeah.
No way.
20-odd years later, Callum's training with the same coach. Isn't it a weird world that we live in?
Callum Bisping finally earned the respect of Coach Vladimir Prushkos.
He's like, listen, your father, number one bullshit. This guy, he can't wrestle, but you, Callum, very good. You do Bisping name proud. But
he went to go smack Callum. Callum went, not today.
Caught it with a pair of chopsticks. No. So the question I was going to ask you, incidentally, because he's in Romania, right? And, you know, as I said, the tournament never went his way. You can't win them all. He was devastated. I said, son, think of the valuable experience you had. Because he had that match, he lost it by 1 point. And then his next match was with the number 2 seed, was like super close. And at the end, he got pushed out of bounds. And in college wrestling, that doesn't matter. But the rules there, when you get pushed out, a point goes to the other guy, and he didn't even know that, so he lost that one as well by a stupid point, and he was pissed. Anyway, so the tournament didn't go his way, but it's all a valuable learning curve. It's a very, very valuable experience. But the point I'm bringing this up is Sunday night. He calls us. It's Sunday morning our time, Sunday night his time, Romania. Right? Never been to Romania, and I know you haven't either, so I won't ask. Doesn't strike me as the safest of places. I don't know why I think that, but I feel like there's a lot of Taken style business, a lot of people, a lot of sex trafficking. Yeah. I don't know, but I feel like that. Right?
There's a lot of people, you know, showing up. They all look dirty. They're all wearing dirty leather jackets and smoking cigarettes, greasy hair. Yeah, gypsies. Thank you, Brian.
Lots of gypsies.
Everyone's trying to get you to hold a suitcase for them. You're like, what are you doing? Get the fuck away. I don't want to hold your suitcase. And that's everyone's thing. They're all shiesty.
No. Well, we can't say everybody. I'm sure there's the person that I spoke to at the hotel last night. He was very helpful. Harrington, finger up at the back.
One thing I read that they do, specifically in Romania, that they tell people to watch out for is women will throw a baby at you and you'll go to catch it. And when you go to catch it, they take everything you have on you and you find out it's not a real baby.
Oh
hey, I gotta say, you gotta respect the hustle. Do you know what I mean? My God.
If somebody threw a baby at me, I would punch that baby in the air.
I don't know if I condone that kind of behavior, Lewis, if I'm honest.
I'm not going to get scammed by anybody.
Fuck that baby. Listen, let's... Whoa. Fuck that baby. That's a weird sentence. Anyway, edit that bit out. Yeah, so Callum, his phone, he was having phone issues the whole time he was there. Either his phone was broken or the iPhone charger wasn't working. So he went off, he bought a couple of chargers and it still wasn't working. And he called us. It was like 11 p.m. Romania time. He said, my phone's on like 2%. I'm walking off. I'm trying to find the charger late at night. I'm like, all right, so well, be careful, you know, and he's going to be up at 7 a.m. Romania time for his flight home. That's the last we've heard. That's it. I don't know. I hope he's on his plane home. He went walking off last night in Romania to find an iPhone charger. And we've had no correspondence.
And you've not heard from him since?
I've messaged the wrestling coach. I don't have contact. He's like, oh, I've got an Instagram. So I've messaged Instagram. I don't know. He was supposed to be up at 7 a.m., right, to go to the airport. I don't know if he was on his flight. He had to go via Zurich, and then from Zurich to LA to San Francisco. Literally, we've got no idea.
When was he supposed to land?
We're supposed to land in LA at 4 p.m. today, right?
So in 1 hour.
In about an hour, yeah. So, but for Rebecca, last night she could hardly sleep. She was terrified because all she's thinking that Callum is now being used as a sex slave in Romania. I'm like,
they're not gonna use him as a sex slave. They're gonna use him. They're gonna probably brainwash him so he could force others into sex slavery.
Listen, Callum Bisping. Listen, the Russian guys like you, okay? So we like you too. Here's what we want you to do. No. So Rebecca's freaking out all night, and I'll be honest, I'm trying to keep her calm. But I'm kind of freaking out as well. Do you know what I mean? And so we called the hotel And I was speaking to the guy there, and I'm like, did a guy leave? You see him, big guy, blonde hair, Callum Bisping? He's like, there's no record of a Callum Bisping here. I'm like, oh my fucking God, what are you talking about? Yes, he stayed at that hotel, but then the coach says, oh no, we changed hotels. So I don't know what's going on. But right now, Callum's MIA, he's missing. We don't know. Maybe he's in the plane, or maybe he's been abducted by aliens, or maybe he's unconscious, been beaten up by a bunch of Romanian gypsies.
What city was he in?
Bucharest.
The second most dangerous city in Romania.
Is he really?
Yeah.
What's first?
Iasi or Lassi. It's either Lassi or Iasi. I don't know if that's a capital. No, that's an
Lassi. It's kind of a pussy ass name for the most dangerous city.
IASI. Bucharest is the second most dangerous city. Dude, listen to me. I'm terrified. How are you not freaking out?
I am.
He's fucking 19. He'd be on the internet. He'd be fucking downloading shit. He'd be on doing a Reddit AMA or whatever he does.
Yeah, well, number one, his phone's destroyed. Well, not destroyed, but he said, my phone's going to die in 2 minutes and I can't charge it. So I said to Rebecca, because she's freaking out last night, but I'm like, babe, stop, seriously. Think about it logically. Right, he went for a walk late at night to find the charger. He said his phone was on 2%. Let's just assume he couldn't charge that up, and he's come back, but he's responsible. He's got a wake-up call at the hotel. He's gone to the airport, and he's on the plane. But he just can't dialogue with us. Now, okay, my inside argument is like, well, you could buy a fucking charger at the airport and charge your phone that way.
All over the place.
Because we Venmo'd him some money to make sure. It was like, I don't know, I don't need him broke. No phone, broke, on the other side of the world, 20 years old, no offense, not the most streetwise kid. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I don't want to freak you out right now.
I'm freaked out.
But I'm freaked out right now because these kids are at a generation where they're not getting on a flight going halfway across the world for hours upon hours, connecting flights, and not getting an iPhone charger and having access to the internet, their phone, a laptop. Does he have a laptop?
He has a laptop.
Why wouldn't he email somebody?
If he gets home, he's going to wish that he got it kidnapped. Because I'm going to beat the fuck out of him because we have been losing our mind. So I've sent him emails. Callum, please, you've got to do better than this. Rebecca's terrified. Rebecca's worried sick, but still. I digress. But that's where we're up to.
I mean, he's a big, scary kid. But I mean, I think back to the story with the homeless Africans and you, and it's like, I don't know, man. Like 3 Romanians are gonna. I don't give. He lost both times he wrestled. The Romanians are tougher than him. We know this.
And according to you, Harrington could beat him in a fucking fist fight. Crazy. That's bonkers.
No, I didn't say Harrington.
You did.
No, I didn't.
I'll be honest. I think you'd have a tough time with Harrington. That's what you said. I was like,
I was fucking around.
That's when I was like, wow, this guy has no gauge on what's going on in the fight world. Anyway, we have got lots of stuff.
That was the moment you realized it?
Yeah. I'm like, he does not know what he's talking about. Anyway, speaking of Harrington, did a good job with the notes. We've got lots of stuff to talk about. There's lots of news stories, but we would be remiss if we did not start with the action that went down at the weekend. Should we start the main event and go backwards? I feel like
sure. Yeah. Well, I usually I'd say let's do that, but I almost feel like we should start with the most exciting moment of the night, in my opinion, which was the opening with Paddy Pimblett versus what's his name.
Well, Fire of the Night was Molly McCann. Molly McCann, spoke to her recently. I spoke to her a lot. She's crazy. I FaceTimed her today. She's in Liverpool on her 10th pint of lager. Gotta love Molly McCann. She's awesome. She's great.
Yeah, she was really excited for Paddy as well after.
Oh, God. Yeah. I'm telling you, before we get into this, the atmosphere, and again, I'll say it's partly because of Paddy and Molly, and just because there was a Liverpool contingent there and a lot of British people. On one side, you had like the Americans, and on the other side, you had tons of English people with English flags. And I got to say, the atmosphere at the Apex on Saturday night was amazing.
It was the first. It felt like a real live crowd, even though there was 100 people there, maybe total scattered throughout.
150,
right?
200 tops, yeah.
Yeah, but the energy was fucking crazy. It was through the roof. It actually truly was. So, and you're right. I think it did have that Team England versus Team America feel, and it was just fun. It was all good. It was a lot of positive energy, and it seemed like, I don't know, everyone just was there to sort of bring it. And I think that this was not typical normally of the Apex shows. The Apex shows are great, but there's usually a lack of energy sort of surrounding the live show.
Yeah, no, absolutely. In fact, I was talking to somebody about that. And again, it gave a different dynamic back in the day, but you could literally hear a pin drop when we first started at the Apex. It was so quiet. But now, as I say, because they're trying to turn it, well, they are turning it, not trying, into a mini venue. You know, they've got a little VIP area at the back now. They've got the Howler Head section where you go in there, you know, and there's like, you know, there's food and there's VIP service. You got the actual VIP section up at the top where you get all kinds of celebrities like Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly and shit like that. You know,
Louis J. Gomez.
Louis J. Gomez. There you go. You got the VIP section. Then you got the stands. It's cool. They're turning it into a really cool like mini venue, and it's awesome because the crowd is nice. Because for the UFC, the Apex is such a great thing. All right, let's hear from one of our sponsors, IP Vanish. We are welcoming them back to today's show. IP Vanish have been a long-time sponsor of ours, so it's great to have them back. So let me tell you about IP Vanish. If you care about the security of your online activity, the easiest way to protect yourself is with IP Vanish VPN. What is VPN? It is a virtual private network, and this one is rated 4.5 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot. IP Vanish provides encrypted connections for all your internet traffic, helping to prevent websites, Wi-Fi providers, and even hackers from intercepting your data. And it's very, very important in this day and age. Of course, you don't want people hacking into your bank account, hacking into your Instagram. You know, people are always trying to do that, trying to get into all your little, I don't know what clubs you're a member of, what things you're logged into on your internet. But these people, it's very, very simple in this day and age. With a virtual private network, it's way more difficult, if not impossible, Lewis.
It's funny you say that. You're like, oh, I don't know what you belong to and what clubs you belong to. Good. And I want to keep it that way. I don't want Michael Bisping to know. I don't want hackers to know. I don't want the government to know. I want everyone to get out of my business. And this is a great way to do it. There's also certain websites. If you ever noticed, Bisping, you've been traveling and you're like, wait, I can't get into certain websites. If you're using a VPN, a lot of the time you can.
Yeah, also, if you ever go to Fight Island, there's no porn on Abu Dhabi, okay? VPN, baby, cruise away, fucking browse away, fill your boots, go crazy. IP Vanish, I'm telling you, that's not all they do. They do many, many other things. They will protect your bank data, your personal data, etc., etc. But that's just another little fringe benefit, Lewis.
Now listen to me, you want to try this out. Anybody who knows about using the internet